Hey, there we go. All right, so welcome back to the channel. We've got a whole new setup thing going on here. We got a couple of lights here. We're in my corner, my space. Excuse me while I adjust things here left and right. Just making sure that it's picking up my voice and not anything else. You can probably hear Blue, my son's lovebird, in the background. They're tweeting away. But I want to talk about probably the most underrated lens that Sony has, especially for video. Now, I know you guys know me, for those that do follow me, know me mostly as a photographer, and I love the 85 1.8 and even this 50 1.8. It's not the most loved lens, but it still has its use. But more on the video side, if you've been watching recently my most current videos, I've been doing a lot of video recently, and for all the stuff that I did, I've been shooting on the A7 III, and I've been shooting handheld, and I've been using, again, probably the most underrated lens that Sony has, which is the 28 f2. Again, probably one of the most underrated lenses. Not as cheap as the 50. I don't want to say cheap, not as affordable in terms of price as the 50, as the 50 f1.8 is the most affordable full frame lens from Sony. This comes in at number 2. Cost me about, if I recall, something like 12 on sale, 12,000 pesos. I don't know what the dollar conversion is. I'll put that up. It was on sale when I got it, so which is great because I think it costs higher than 12, something like 18 or even around 20,000. But for what you get out of this, it's great. I mean, it's not perfect. There are some things to say about this lens. First of all, the build quality is nice. It's an all metal build. It's not plastic like the 50 millimeter. So that's great. It's very sturdy, right? One thing you'll notice, it doesn't go all the way up to f1.8. It goes to only up to f2. Small price to pay, a third of a stop slower, but this thing does wonders. Now, there are some problems you'll see, especially when I use it for photos. There's a lot of vignetting, and it does have a fair amount of barrel distortion. But for video, in-camera corrections seem to take care of that. I don't see the vignetting in video. I don't complain about it as much in video. The distortion seems to be taken care of as well with the in-camera correction. So for photos, it's nice. If you've seen some of my photos, I've used it for some photo work, but it really shines with the video work because it's not as wide as a 24, but it isn't as narrow as, say, a 50 or a 35. So it does give you more of that background, but it doesn't give you that much distortion. And all of the videos I've shot recently, if you look at that shoot I did with Commune, the video I did for with Commune, at Commune, and that video I did at Sevi Coffee, and that short, nice video I did with Leanne, with one of our shoots. And I just got in there and said, hey, let's shoot a couple of rolls of video, and I did that short 30-second bit with her. That was all with the 28, and I can't find a better lens than the 28 at that price range. There are times I use the 50 for video, but for video work, you want to lean more on the wider end, especially when you're shooting handheld. Everything I do is handheld. And so yeah, it just fits that use very well. If you're shooting handheld, if you're shooting with a small rig, if you're shooting on a lower budget, it's just perfect because it just checks off all your needs. Again, not the fastest, only goes to f2. Full metal build, has no other functions other than that. There is one thing I will point out that I don't like about this, which is I don't know even why they had it built this way, but basically, whenever I put on an ND filter on the front, so I've got an ND filter, it makes it difficult to use a lens hood. So if I have the lens hood on and I put the ND filter on there, it's gonna be hard to change the ND filter, the stops on the ND filter, right? If I take off the lens hood and fit the ND filter on, it makes it impossible to put the hood back on. So once you have the ND filter on, you can't take the hood off. So you can't adjust, it makes it hard to adjust the settings. So I end up using this thing without the hood on. I just slap on the ND filter, no hood, and that's it. Bob's your uncle. That is probably the only complaint I have. I don't think anyone's been talking about that based on all the other reviews I've seen. It's not like with the 50mm lens, I can slap on the ND filter and I can just remove the lens hood as I please, put it back on, and it doesn't get in the way of me adjusting the stops on the ND filter, because again, I can just take off the lens hood, adjust the stops, put the lens hood back. With this, it's either you put the lens hood on or you don't, because once the filter's on, there's no getting it out, because the filter just blocks the threading for the lens hood, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I'd love to see your thoughts on that if you've ever used the 28 f2. Wonderful lens, I have no complaint. Not the best image quality, you get what you pay for, but it is good image quality. It's not the worst. So yeah, cheers.